Right, we've done plenty of hot hatches, from old Focus RSs to mini AMGs, but now it's time to review one of the most popular hot hatches of all time, the VW Golf R. It's certainly not the most dynamic, but there is a reason why so many people love these things. Let's get into it. My name's Tom, and you're watching Paragon Cars. Let's go. Now, the engine. This is the widely known and used EA888 Gen 3 2-litre turbo. What does that mean though? Well, being a 2019 Golf R, it means power would be at 296 and torque at 380 Nm if it was a stock car. This is down over the previous year due to the extra filter in the exhaust system. Thankfully though, this Golf R has a rather rare factory option, the Akrapovic exhaust system. It's just under $3,000 from factory, and it comes with a sports cat instead of the OPF, meaning power is back up to around 314 according to Akrapovic's website. So let's see if it can pull out some strong numbers in the 30 to 70 sprint. Well, that exhaust certainly makes a difference, because we managed a rather impressive time of exactly 4.1 seconds, making it faster than a 2017 Mercedes A45 and a pre-OPF Audi S3. I did 3 more runs as well just to make sure the results were legit, and sure enough, they were. Every single run was nearly bang on 4.1. Now, the interior. This is why so many end up with the Golf R, because, well, it's still a Golf really. That means a perfectly laid out cabin with enough quality and space to keep 4 people happy. The digital cockpit is sharp and responsive, but I do wish there was an option for a centre-mounted rev counter like in the S3, because even a Leon Cupra gets that. The infotainment is fast, sharp, and just about perfect really. All it needs is a scroll wheel rather than just being touchscreen. One often overlooked feature in a car is quality cup holders, but the Golf just nails it frankly. Not only are the cup holders perfect, the door cards are large and lined with plenty of felt to stop stuff from rattling around. Moving to the rear, you're greeted with enough room to relax in, even over longer journeys. Then there's a climate vent and your own armrest. Annoyingly, there's nowhere to plug your phone in though, which is a bit of a shame. Move even further back to the boot and you'll find 343 litres of space with the seats up and 1233 with the seats down. This is actually smaller than the regular Golf due to the Haldex all-wheel drive system, but it's still a fairly good amount of room. Plus the shape of the boot makes it an easy space to utilise. Right, let's do some driving. So you might be surprised to hear that this is the first time I have ever driven a VW Golf R. Out of all the cars I've driven, amazing and boring, you'd have thought I would have done this probably first or second, but nope, first time I've ever driven one. And when you consider I own a Seat Leon Cupra, it is a bit weird that I've never sort of gotten behind the wheel of one. Driven an S3, so it's going to be interesting to see if this is any different really. Anyway, enough waffle. Driving around town, going over speed bumps, what does it feel like? Well, we are riding on the standard suspension for the Golf R, which is sort of what I would call a sports setting if you had DCC. It's kind of in between comfort and full race mode. And it's very well judged. It rams off the bumps, nothing comes into the cabin, but it should be stiff enough that we're not flopping all over the place when we take it on a B road later. Now then, what's it like to park? Well, it's a Golf, so you'd expect it to be fairly easy, nothing too dramatic. And you'd be right. The only difference from a normal Golf that you'll notice straight away is that the steering rack is quite a lot different. You go from lock to lock much quicker than you do in a standard Golf. And if anything, it actually makes parking a little bit easier. You've got a reverse camera as well as your parking sensors. Parking sensors are great, never seem to get confused when it's raining, but the reverse camera is not that good. It's got a high refresh rate, which is a very good thing, but the resolution is so poor that it kind of makes it pointless in a way, or at least it's not as good as it should be. Right, what's it like coming out of a junction? I'll put start stop on so we can get the full experience of what it's like. Half throttle. It's a delay of about 0.4 of a second. Not the fastest start stop system. It would be nice if it was just a little bit quicker. So I'm going to turn it off, I think. Right, so let's reset the trip computer to see what MPG we can get. Theoretically, we should get mid-40s if it's a clear day on the motorway. Right, time to get a taste of how this thing handles. So we are going to go into race mode. This will sharpen up the steering, make it a bit heavier. Put the gearbox into sports. If I put the traction into sports as well, that will loosen the back end a bit, hopefully. And it will open the valves in the exhaust. I'm also going to go into manual mode. Alright, let's see how this thing handles. This is where the Golf R really is good, because that all-wheel drive system basically just gives you all the grip you'd ever need, and at lower speeds it really doesn't understeer at all. Once you're moving, that Akrapovic exhaust sounds pretty nice as well, especially those DSG farts. Right, back into drive, traction back on, and now we're going to go into eco. But without start stop. Actually no, we'll leave start stop on. Now we're on the motorway, you just activate the adaptive cruise control and chill out. So, what's a Golf R like on the motorway? Well, the adaptive cruise makes it relaxing. The seats are very comfortable, I have to say. There's not a huge amount of adjustment in them, as in you can't adjust the pitch of the base and there's no extendable bit underneath your legs. But the way they're set up from factory is actually really nice already. Visibility is good, you've got skinny A-pillars, a little bit of glass down there so you can see some more road, and then you've got skinny B-pillars as well. General visibility is very good in a Golf. Then you've got the curved bit of glass on the side of the mirror that makes it easier to see in your blind spot. My only gripe with these wing mirrors is that they are a little bit too small for me. I would just like them to be a little bit bigger so I can get a bit more visibility. Then armrests, they are absolutely bang on in a Golf. You've got tons of adjustability in the centre console armrest. Much more than most cars. And it really does make a difference on a long journey. It means you basically just sit in an armchair. Then interior quality, it's fairly good, I would say. Obviously it's not quite Audi S3 level, but you've got squidgy materials on the door cards, on the dash, on the armrests. This has got the upgraded Napa leather, which is really, really nice and soft. Very close to Audi quality in terms of seats. Then everything's felt lined, of course. The only bit of the interior I don't really like is this piano black plastic trim, as it does scratch easily. The rest of the interior though, pretty good. But what about wear and tear? This is where some VAG cars can be a tad problematic, and I am noticing two distinct rattles in this Golf R, one coming from somewhere around here and one coming from the seats in the back. Those kinds of things can sometimes be very easy to fix. Again, they can also be equally hard to fix. So, it would be nice to have a bit better quality control. Then in terms of sound deadening, the Golf R is, funnily enough, right in between a Leon Cupra and an Audi S3. The S3 is very quiet inside on the motorway. This is probably about 10% louder, and then the Cupra's about 15% louder than the S3. All of them are totally bearable though. You're never going to go, oh god, this is really annoying. But for me, the best feature has got to be this adaptive cruise control. We're in traffic now on the M25, and it just totally takes the stress out of driving. You can change the assistance settings if you want. So you've got front assist, lane assist, which keeps you in your lane. It's not quite as good as the system in the Audi, where it will actually keep you centered in the lane. But this, I'm pretty sure, actually came standard for quite a while on Golf Rs. And that's quite surprising, because VAG cars will usually rinse your pockets when it comes to options. So it's nice to see some stuff is standard. Moving on to specifications. If I only had 3 choices, what would I get? First thing is going to be that Dyne audio system. Standard system is just not good enough for a car in this price bracket. And this Dyne audio system is quite a big step up over the standard sound system. It's very loud, but it's not that clear. Compared to the Audi S3 Bang & Olufsen system, I mean, it's not even in the same league, which is a shame, really. I would say it's just about passable. Then the next thing, of course, is going to be that panoramic roof, because A, it looks really nice, lets a lot more light into the cabin, especially for rear passengers, and B, you can tilt it, which is very important, especially when you've spent £3,000 on an Akrapovic exhaust system. You want to hear that thing. Then lastly, it would actually be this Nappa leather. This is a huge upgrade over the standard seats, and it actually looks really good. No, it's definitely worth the money that they're charging. Well, there was a little bit of traffic on the motorway today, so we couldn't get the most efficient result we would have gotten if it was clear. But we still managed 41.7 miles per gallon, which is very good for a car with this much power. As usual, we're going to destroy that figure now and have some fun on a B road. Right, back into race mode. I've got the ESC fully off, not just in sports mode. See how this thing handles. You can get a little bit of rotation, but not as much as I'd like. And the thing is, it is just kind of battling understeer. See what the brakes are like. Yeah, brakes are good. 340mm discs on this car. Open the pan roof, see if we can get DSG fart through here. No. It's always when you go through a tunnel, it never does it. Alright, let's try getting through here. Probably going to scare this guy, but oh well. No, didn't want to do it. And now it does it. As soon as you're out of a tunnel, it'll do it. Hilarious, that, isn't it? Maybe I shifted too early or something. The thing with the Golf R is it has a tendency to understeer, but it's also very, how do I describe it? I mean, everyone just says it's planted. It's more of like a precise tool rather than something to have tons of fun in. Like if I take it seriously, you can go around that corner seriously quick. Thing is, I think it takes itself slightly too seriously. It just needs to be a little bit more leery. This is where the Golf R always shines though. The all-wheel drive grip and just a tendency to just grip the road like it's on rails. Make it almost untouchable on a B road. Even on this stock suspension as well, it does a pretty good job of holding the road. You can feel the difference between this and a car with DCC though. Like coming around this corner here, you can feel it just leans a tiny bit more. Unflappable performance. It's the low speed stuff where the Golf R is really quick. It's only when you're getting up to illegal speeds where it kind of all falls apart slowly. Like on a track, it just becomes an understeering mess, really. It's nice to balance, but it just needs a bit more adaptability on the throttle. So why is the Golf R so popular? Is it just fanboyism, or is it really just that good? Well, I have to say, it really is just good. You see, whilst the Focus RS is more dynamic, and the Mercedes A45 AMG is more raughty, the Golf R does the little things like comfort, capability, and usability on just another level compared to most other hot hatches. You never have moments of frustration, yet it's still fun enough to put a smile on your face. Plus, if you want to make it into a 600 horsepower monster, you can. And you know what? Even then, it'll do a commute to work with no fuss whatsoever. As always, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, give it a like and why not subscribe, as not only can you see more content like this, you can see everything we have for sale. My name's Tom, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.